here's how I started realizing I've got a real issue with this. Like, I would wake up and feel like I need to contribute to world worry today. Like, I'm going to do my part.
It's my job.
It's my job. Like I would get worried and anxious if I wasn't worried and anxious.
Yeah.
Because that's all I knew how to operate, because my insides just felt worried and anxious all the time.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know how to enjoy my peace and calm, because I would get worried that my peace and calm was about to go away. Because it felt so good to have a moment of peace and a moment of calm that I would get worried and anxious that it's going to go away, and I would lose my peaceful moments. Well, there's something deeper going on. And I sit there and go, okay, I could look at my life, right, and go, well, maybe it's just sin. Well, this was going on, Tim, in seasons of my life where I was praying 3 hours a day, fasting for 40 days. Witnessing to 50 to 100 people a week. I mean, I was really living it. So then the way that the church would come alongside, this is just spiritual warfare. The enemy's not wanting you to, take new ground. Yeah. So it was like, okay, well, then it's spiritual warfare. Well, I finally got to Dallas Seminary, and I had a psychologist say, Bobby, you've got some real anxiety. I would think some medication could be good. Yeah. Well, I always felt terrible with the idea of medication. Right. So I kept fighting. I was like, well, it's spiritual warfare. And I would search my heart. Well, maybe it's sin. Well, then I go through all this whole process, but the anxiety and the worry was still there. Yeah. Well, finally, it took me really slipping into a deep night of the soul where I had suicidal thoughts and everything, where I finally ended up on an antidepressant. And you know what? It gave me the dopamine and the serotonin that I needed to do some of the deep work that I needed. And so I think that medication is always a last resort. But we should always be walking through a checklist. Is this sin? Do I think this is spiritual warfare? Do I have unprocessed trauma? Do I see genetic stuff like I see in my parents flowing in me? Is it mental health? What would you add to that, babe? Yeah.
Well, I love the way where you're going with that, because I think.
Well, thank you, babe. I appreciate it.
You're so smart. Such a smart Dr. Conway, isn't it?
True.
I mean, but I like the way you're looking at it, because holistically, which is what I'm so passionate about, is we have to realize that we are spiritual beings, we're emotional beings, we're physical beings, and mental health plays a role in all of those. Sometimes people have mental health issues because their hormones are off. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Yeah. I mean, ladies, if you're listening out there, our hormones play a big part every single month, right, honey? As he's shaking his head. Yeah.
No, I've never seen you compromised emotionally because of hormones.
I'm steady and, whatever. No, seriously, our hormones affect our mental health. And so part of it is evaluating, and that's what I do with my clients, is I'm like, okay, well, let's look at your past pain, your past trauma. Let's look at your cycles. Let's look at your hormones. Let's get your blood work. Yeah. It's not just a one size fits all. There's lots of things we can do to see what's going on with people on all fronts, and so I think looking at it from that holistic approach, and not like, here's some Xanax. Hey, here's some Prozac. Not that that's bad, because sometimes your chemicals are off and you need that. But sometimes just about all you really need to do is, get some good habits and routines in your life. You need to start eating better. You need to, maybe your hormones are off in your gut. Our gut health and our brain health are so closely related. There's so many things that we can address, and we just have to start looking at it, I think, from that, holistic perspective.